What's up, y'all? This is JB, Urban Coordinator at ERS Plus. I'm here with a longtime friend of mine, childhood friend. Grew up together, same apartments. And we're here to talk about EDL, the Educator League. But first, let's get to know E a little bit. It's a pleasure.
What's going on?
Thank you for being here. I simply wanted to bring you on here so we could talk about EDL, the Educator League. I'm aware that it has been progressing, it has been flourishing, and I want to put it on notice. I want to let the people know what you're really doing out here and how it's keeping our communities in a good space. They need to know who you are though first. So if you don't mind, as of 2025, who's Eric Tabb?
Who am I today sitting in front of you? I guess I would say, not to be cheesy, but I'm an educator, right?
Okay.
And not based off of my job or my role. When I look back to the person I was when we were growing up, I feel like I was an educator then as well.
Right.
In terms of kind of taking you under the wing, coming back from college, sharing my knowledge from that, from you to Chito to Manny, right? So I think about, in those times, I was still an educator in that space. And so I just think of myself as an educator, right? I can go on and say like I'm a father, I'm a husband, I do this, I do that, but essentially I think right now, 2025, Eric Tabb is an educator.
Nice. Where are we currently? The school we at, the area in Boston. Can you give us a little scoop?
Sure. We're at Boston Prep Charter School, located at 885 River Street, which is in Hyde Park.
Okay.
This is the newer building. I've been at Boston Prep for 9 years, so I started at the old building. So this building is 8 years old.
Okay.
And it's a charter school, a public charter school for grades 6 through 12.
6 through 12, okay. And graduation is soon.
Graduation is tomorrow. So we're gonna run through our graduation rehearsal today. And I always love graduation. Yeah. It's like a really joyful moment, not just for the students, like the families, like all the work that the families put into it, receiving all the phone calls from us and just like being really invested and involved.
Okay. So for the people who don't know, obviously I know you. Give us a little insight of where you grew up, where you went to school, and what was life like growing up in Boston from your perspective?
So I grew up in the South End before the South End became the South End. I'm from 1850.
Okay.
And so growing up in 1850, like I used to be really excited to talk about my neighborhood, all the things we did, and all my experiences. And it actually wasn't until later where I realized a lot of the things we went through, that was trauma. It was trauma. It wasn't normal, right? So like when we sat on the benches, I had to sit on this side, you had to sit on that side, so we had to make sure there was no bikes coming, right?
Head on swivels.
Head on a swivel at all times. But I just thought that's just what it was.
Right.
But later on, that was trauma. Like we went through a lot of trauma. And then I went to high school, and I feel like this is really where my life changed. I went to Latin Academy, and I met a group of friends. And this group of friends basically changed my trajectory. I think about every summer I used to just go home and be on the block. But then I met my friend Shamel, I met Jeff. Shamel was a DJ at the time. And so he started bringing me to parties. He's like, oh, let's go to Newberry Street, right? And we created our crew, UF.
It exposed you to...
Yeah, I had exposure, more awareness to what was actually happening. Right. Then I went to college. I went to Mount Ida where I played football. I played D3 football.
I went to a game.
And then I needed to get out of Massachusetts. So then I went to Virginia State, and I wanted to experience that historically Black college experience.
Now, what was that distance? What did that distance do for you being away from Boston?
That distance opened up a lot for me, right? I think in Boston, especially at that time. Like me and my friends, we were popular in Boston. We knew who was who. We knew where to go. We were hanging out. But when I went to Virginia, it was different because there was all these amazing Black young adults doing it in different spaces.
Fire.
They were doing it through
Fire.
modeling, through sports, through the cheer team. Like, it was amazing just being out there and feeling that energy.
Fire. Before being a principal, what kind of jobs did you work? Did you work any other jobs? Did you have another career path before sitting in this seat?
I mean, what I will say is when I graduated from Virginia, I moved back to Boston because I'm like, I'll probably make more money in Boston than Virginia, right? I was in Petersburg, Virginia. What I will say is when I got back, I tried the club promoting thing. I tried being a part of a hip hop group, you know, Famous Nobodies. But then later on, I realized when I was like 25 that I actually needed a career. So I thought about what I can do. And I thought about my PE teacher when I was in high school. I thought about Mr. Garrett. I was like, oh, I can do that. I played sports. I know how to do that. And so I just set forth in trying to be a PE teacher. So like my whole real professional career has been in education, starting off as a PE teacher, then an athletic director.
Okay. Nice. Do you have any hobbies or interests outside of education?
I mean, I exercise. I exercise. I would say that's like a hobby that I like to do. I like to stay fit.
Okay. We did play ball growing up.
Mm-hmm.
You still play ball?
Only the times we do some open runs sometimes. But if I do that, I got to stretch for a while.
Man, listen, my stretch routine is about 20, 25 minutes. A good one, too. EDL.
Mm-hmm.
What is EDL? When did you come up with this idea?
So EDL started so in 2019, I was an athletic director. And me and a couple other athletic directors, you know, we talked about like just playing like open pickup run. And we thought it would be a good idea if like my school played against that school. And it was just 3 of us. It was Forrest, who was the athletic director from Brooke, Jake Friedman from CCSC, and myself. And so every Saturday we'll go to somebody's gym and we'll play 3 games. And then we'll go maybe have a drink or just hang out and fellowship at a local bar. We just did that 4 times and it was cool. But we only did that 1 year, 2019. Then COVID hit, couldn't do nothing. But then 2021, when we came back into in-person school, I remember a player from Brooke, Jordan, reached out to me and was like, hey, you gonna do that league again? And so I was like, oh, there's an appetite for it, right? So that's the technical part. The real reason of like really bringing back the Educator League and making it a real thing was because as an administrator, coming back from COVID, I realized we lost the culture of our school, the culture and our teachers. And so one way I know how to build relationships and build the culture of our staff is through sports, right? And so I put it together to build the relationships of my staff. And other schools thought that was a great idea as well. And so what ended up happening was that in building our staff up, our staff then start to communicate and build a community across districts, across schools. So for instance, if you're at one school and you're a math teacher, you can reach out to another math teacher at another school and talk about best practices because you have that relationship now because you saw them on Saturday, you talked to them on Saturday. So it became like a community, a network where you can support each other. So it's like, it's bigger than the basketball. Yes, that's what it is, but it's bigger than basketball. It's building a community.
Okay. Who are the organizers and who do the players consist of?
So I would say my team consists of myself. I would be the founder and CEO. Mac, who does a lot of my social media. My cousin James Schuler, who does like the photography and videography. And then I have a web designer, Juan. So it's 4 of us that actually runs it.
Okay, and then the players.
So the players are basically any educator from that school. So we've had executive directors play, we had substitutes play, custodians, IT people. So it's anybody that basically gets a check from that school can participate as a player from that school, right? Like you played basketball in high school and you played against other schools in high school. So that's basically what it is. It's like if I wanted to really think really big about it, we could make this like the MIAA for educators, right? And just have different schools play different sports during different seasons.
Are games held here at Boston Prep? Is there any live broadcasting?
So interesting, like the first iteration of EDL was basically the schools that played, we would bounce from their gym to each gym. And it was good because it gave each school an opportunity to have the home court advantage. But then what I realized is that not every school has a gym. So after that season, I was like, we're just gonna hold it at one gym. And so for the past 2.5 years, it's been here at Boston Prep. So we do a fall season, a spring season, it's been at Boston Prep. And in terms of live broadcasting, I would love to, but I haven't had a chance to really look into how to do that. The most we've done was like an Instagram live at the last 5 minutes of a game. I do have student interns, and so I have my students interns do that, and they do some of the work of like EDL.
Okay, actually going to speak on that in a bit. How has the progress been, if you could give it a grade?
I will say the progress, man. Each season, we've been growing to the point where I have to like cut off schools from participating. So each season now we have 10 schools that participate. I like have to shut down 6 to 10 more other schools. And I have to be like, well, we don't have any more space. And so I think like what I'm trying to figure out is how to get more funding so that I can give this same support and this same impact to more schools. If I had 2 sites, if I had 3 sites, how do I connect with another district? How do I get in connection with BPS versus just have 3 to 4 schools from BPS participate? How do I get a district like Quincy or Milton or all of these people involved so I have more resources so I can bring this feeling, this experience for the educators? Because the educators, right, this job's hard, right? Being an educator is tough. It's like actually one of the hardest jobs. But to have a space where you go on Saturday, you can decompress, you can have fun, you can connect with your team where you're basically saying, I don't really see this person in the hallway, but I know on Saturdays I'll see them and I have a stronger relationship with them through the sport versus just seeing them in the hallway. And my surveys, when people say that, that's like, okay, I'm on the right track of something. And so I want to give that experience to other schools, other educators, other districts.
Right. Okay. In your opinion, what makes EDL, the Educator League, so unique and significant for our community?
I mean, it goes back to what I was just saying. I think we're all educators to support our students. To have a really good educator, they actually need to have some time for themselves, have some time to process, decompress, just like get some of those emotions out so that on Monday, they can be their best selves for our students, right? And at the center of all of this, it's not basketball, it's the students and student outcomes. And so I want to support and help and give this opportunity to the people that sit in face to face with our students, the most brightest and most gifted people here. And I just want to give them that opportunity so that they can be their best self for them.
Gotcha. Okay. You mentioned student intern.
Mm-hmm.
Explain how people can get involved.
Mm-hmm.
What are the benefits to getting involved? And how can someone inquire about getting involved?
So the student internships started because we have a part of graduating from here at Boston Prep is our students need to do community service hours. And sometimes the students struggle trying to find community service, where to go, who to find, who to trust. And so what I did was, because I do need help running the league, I created an application, a process, and different roles for students to sign up and be a part of. So that being a statistician, a photographer, a videographer, and basically somebody to like sell merch and then set up and break down, right? So this season I have 3 student interns that really help and support the league each and every day. I get them food, like they've actually become a part of the league, where the other staff from other schools, they come, they shake their hand when they see them, and they're greeted like they're a part of the community, because they are. And so I think what I want to do for school year 26 is I want to offer that opportunity for other schools. If they have a program where their students need to get community service hours or volunteer hours, I'm gonna have an application on the website where they can submit, and I'll probably try to pick like 6 students that could actually come and learn and just like understand the background of running a basketball league, because it's not just you throw a ball out there.
Yeah. Okay, that's fire. That's a dope initiative for these kids. A few more questions, I'm gonna let you go. Of course, it's difficult to run a league. It's even more difficult to build a league.
Mm-hmm.
What was that process like of organizing and building this league? Any obstacles you overcame? And did you, or do you currently have any mentors, guidance?
I'm still hitting some of the same obstacles, right? Because I think when I first started, I wanted to do a lot of different sports. And of course, basketball is the easiest one. And we were actually lucky because I have access to a gym. Not everybody have access to a gym. So that's also been really easy for me. But obstacles have been deciding the registration fee, right? Being an admin, I'm like, okay, I didn't understand how I could get a school to believe in this program enough to pay money for it. So at first I started off real low. I wasn't even covering the cost of refs. So then I had to pick it up. I had to cover the cost for refs. I had to just continue to build it up. So at first I was coming out of my pocket just to show that this league actually matters and makes sense. And I think I'm at that road again where it's like, okay, this is the cost. This is what I need to happen. And when you talk about a mentor, I think about, he's an executive director at Bridge. So I talk to him like every month. His name's Oren. He did a couple startups. And so when I talk to him, he's like, Tabb, whatever you do through Educator League, my school's always gonna be in. He's like, because I see it as an employee benefit. And I didn't see it as that. Schools have money in their HR or just through their school where they create employee benefits for their staff. So it could be one of the initiatives to go work for their school because they allow and they pay for things like this, so the staff members don't have to come out of their pockets, right? So this past season, I had 10 schools. 8 out of 10 of those schools, the school paid for that. The other 2 schools, they paid out of their pocket as teachers, but I'm trying to figure out and try to get in front of the administration so that they understand what they're actually paying for. And my league's $850 to $1,000, right? I know other leagues that's $1,200, $1,800, but I don't even want to compare it to that. I think about when the administration, the leadership team, they buy lunch for staff, right? They buy lunch. We bought lunch for staff here a couple weeks ago. We spent $2,800 for one day of lunch that staff's gonna eat, and that's it. They might be happy for a little bit, but that's it. My league ranges from 7 weeks up to 10 weeks, depending on how far you go and the playoffs. And you're getting that community building each and every week. The staff is going back to school. They're talking about it all week. They're preparing for it next week. That's joy, that's building. Schools are not just paying for a basketball league. They're paying for the community building that they want their staff to do. They're paying for retention. Like if you look at my Instagram and you look at the teams that continuously come back, you'll see a lot of the same faces. So when you think about a retention strategy, why not invest in EDL? And so when I think about that, I'm thinking about other sports. The reason why I want to do other sports, because everybody's not going to play basketball, but somebody might come out and play volleyball because that might be their thing. Or they might come out and play kickball because you can get more people out there. So I want to invest and target other people and get them involved as well. But it's the resources, it's the funding that I'm trying to work on to get there.
Okay. That's why we're doing this interview. To wrap up, ERS Plus, we like to highlight the Black and brown experience within our communities throughout Greater Boston. How do you think you and the entire EDL contribute to this experience?
I mean, I think we contribute to that because we're in front of the students every day. And the majority of our students are Black and brown students, right? And so having the teachers be supported, allowing them to be their best self while supporting the Black and brown students and the Black and brown experience, I think goes a really long way.
I wanted to ask that, do the students champion the teachers? Like, the teachers will come back and speak on that Saturday or the week they played. Do the students rile them up or like champion them?
I mean, I can speak from a couple of experiences that schools have shared with me. I know that I want to say Bridge, he puts it in his newsletter. A lot of my students here at Boston Prep, they come to the games, they on the Instagrams, they might even troll a teacher, right? Oh, you airballed, you missed this free throw, right? So it's all engages, all encompassing of like the experience of the students being centered.
Right. My last question, one of my most curious questions. Given your workload,
Yep.
being a principal here, being a founder, CEO, being a father, being a husband, being a friend, how do you decompress? How do you spend your free time to be you, to let go? Where do you go? Like, how do you find that? Because I know you seek it. You gotta seek it. Where you find it?
I mean, honestly, I think I'm still trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure it out. I do the work here at school. I go home, I cook, I do tubby time, right? Put the kids to bed. Then I go sit on my couch and I get on my laptop. And if I'm not doing the school work, I'm working on EDL. I'm working on like, I don't know what I should need to post. I'm gonna schedule this post for tomorrow. I don't know. I try to go to the gym in the morning, but it's rushed because I got to get to school. So I wouldn't say that's the space, but I'm trying to figure it out.
There's nothing wrong with that. I think we all trying to figure that out too. I'm just trying to figure it out myself. With that being said, I want to thank you for your time. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here, your presence. I appreciate what you're doing for the communities, for these kids. And I hope that when people see this interview, I hope they consider getting involved somehow. I hope they might know somebody that knows somebody to get involved. Again, my deepest appreciation for what you do, for what you're doing, and Godspeed.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
There you have it, y'all. JB, Mr. Eric Tabb, ERS Plus. Catch the Educator League, educatorleague.com.
.com.
Follow the Educator League IG, educator_league. Follow Mr. Tabb if you prefer, and stay tuned. Peace.
Woo, I'm hot.